Healing crystals, skincare routines, knitting a sweater, fitting in jeans. With Katie and Sarah, no need to worry, you're on a lady journey.
I just like,
This is our
this is
bonus
so lady
content.
journey. Hello, everybody, and
Hello.
welcome to Lady Journey.
Lady Journey.
As we're getting started here, we want to make sure that you please subscribe to our YouTube.
Lightly touch it. I
Just
just
a
think
little
it's like,
tap.
don't be shy.
Give it a little tap-a-roni.
Hit that subscribe button.
If you are on iTunes, just go over to YouTube quickly and subscribe to us.
Yeah. I think our visuals are better than our audio.
Oh, we look great. We look so great. I'm wearing contacts again, still wearing contacts. It feels like one is popping out, but I don't know what's happening up there, but I'm feeling a little something. So if you notice, I'm like just squinting away.
You're getting used to it.
My contact's popping out. The other one feels fine. Or is it even in there? I have no idea. And that's the
in the
nature of
back.
wearing Yeah, it's rolled around the other side. That's the nature of wearing contacts. But
we're in the new year when these episodes come out.
Yes.
And we're, it's 2023. You want to hit the ground running.
You want to hit
even
the ground
though it's
running.
cold as balls
so
outside.
freezing. And you want to wear your contacts. You've got to get used to them. Well, I have to say, like, when I got these, that you have to put them in at the doctor's office, at the eye doctor, and it, like, you just have to all of a sudden go from not being able to put in contacts to being able to put in contacts. And it took me, like, the woman just stood there for almost 2 hours. And I'm like, so I get into this like competitive psychotic state where I'm like, I will touch my eye. I will scratch my fucking cornea right now if that's what I have to do. And she's just like, you might need to come back. I'm like, I'm not coming back. I'll never be back here.
We're doing this. You stay right there, Missy.
Stay there. Like they have to do. Like people are calling on the phone. I'm just like jamming my eye.
No, it reminds me of sometimes, when I go on family vacation and we're swimming, or like we have to jump from a rock into the water and the whole family is watching you and you're like, the water's 50 degrees and I'm scared and I have the whole quarry looking at me.
Yes. And then you just have this like moment in your mind where you're like, why am I doing this to myself? Like, I feel like that with like stand up sometimes, or I do like a big performance and I get so nervous and I'm like, why am I putting myself through this?
Do not need to do this.
No, why don't I just have a normal job and stay at home?
Yes, and have regular hours.
Oh my God, I could take a vacation.
I know. Instead, I'm like, every day, I'm like, you can do this. You can fucking do this. Jump off this ledge.
Jump off this ledge. Poke yourself in the eye.
It's gonna be
Pain
cold
is
down
beauty.
there, and there
Pain
might
is
be
beauty.
random sticks.
But I feel like you always relate it to like the situation that you're in. I'm like, for some reason, I've decided it's because this is the life path that I chose, as though it's not like a universally human emotion to feel uncomfortable sometimes.
Absolutely. And also, I also would have those feelings when I went to a regular day job in the morning, like this. You can fucking
Why am
do
I
this.
doing it? Yeah, the second
you hate this, but you're doing it.
The second that you have like any awkward like interaction with somebody at the water cooler, and then you're just like, why I could have done anything. Why am I doing this to myself?
Should have been a stand-up comic.
Yeah, yes. I should have followed my dreams of being an actor.
Yeah, I've just decided I do not like obligations. It causes me anxiety.
Yes.
'Cause
Yeah.
I don't know how they're going to turn out.
It's true. That's why I never make plans. I'm like, I don't know how I'm going to feel about you a day of.
Absolutely. And things can surprise you. Like I was telling you, I just had a hang with somebody. It threw me off that you're like, wow, I did not know that was going to be a lot of work when I hung out with that person.
I didn't know I hated you.
And how uncomfortable you made me feel. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I know. Because I have people pleasing. I'm my people pleasing, which is why we've decided we're a great pair, because we just please each other. We're just the only.
We're always like, it's okay if you don't want to do that.
Yeah. I know. I was like, I'm so sorry. But yeah, it's like sometimes when you hang out with people and you are a people pleaser and then they're like a people taker.
Yes.
Then
they will take until I'm dead.
They will suck you dry.
They're energy vampires.
It just puts you in an awkward position where it's like, well, I either have to just cater to you or I have to confront you. And I'm not doing that.
Yeah, what was it? this now we're derailing. But that's
Before we
Lady
even
Journey.
start.
Yeah. I had a hang with somebody recently that has always been like work, and automatically I'm telling them something and they're like, wait, how do you know that? And then they're asking everything that I said, they question, and I was like, what? Why does this have to be so hard?
Yeah.
I'm just trying to have small talk with you who I don't even like that much.
Yeah, I know.
I'm trying to be pleasant and you're making this awful.
You're confronting me. It's like, are you so conflict? You're so pro conflict that you can't even just be like, hey, how's it going? You know? We had to send a note to our upstairs neighbors who have been so loud.
No.
We call them Stompy. We don't know what's going on up there, but it's about stomping every night. It starts at about midnight and it goes until about 4, where it's like, it sounds like someone's frantically cleaning the apartment, falling down at times, moving furniture. And it's so disruptive and it's so upsetting that we finally were like, we have to do something. We just have to leave a note. And now I cannot describe to you the amount of anxiety that I have every time I leave my apartment that I'm going to run into one or the other of the people that live in that I'm going to have to be like, I'm really sorry.
Well, I think
that was my boyfriend.
Yeah.
I love it. I love the stomping.
he hates it.
He's
I'm like, Mike, let them do what
they want. I'm like, meanwhile, I'm the one that's crying every morning because I can't sleep.
I suspect too that those people aren't actually doing anything super crazy. Because Rana makes a lot of noise and we're like, what the fuck are you doing? And he has no idea.
Well, now that we've asked them to stop, they've been super quiet and we can hear them walking around. So I don't know what's going on now. I almost feel bad where I'm like, are they like just walking around like
on eggshell,
like totally on eggshells,
like Native American? Not to disturb the deer downstairs.
Yeah. Well, I did stipulate in the note. We said like just be quiet from midnight to 8.
That's
easy. Where it's like
that's easy.
Because I hate to be like this psychotic person, and that's how I think that they're perceiving me, as like this Karen who's like, shut up. You know?
Yeah, you're just coming up there with your like white noise machine and your sleep mask on.
With my white energy. Like, how dare you come into my space?
You guys are so loud.
You guys are so loud.
Yeah.
But I do, so we just said just 12 to 8, just let us sleep.
Yeah.
Let us sleep for 8 hours and don't be doing whatever you're doing at 4 a.m, because that's disturbing to us.
Yes. Well, you know, I'm just derailing more. There's a TikTok that I actually related to. It was like this mom comes in and her 2 girls and she's like, what are you guys doing? It's like 3 a.m. and they're like, we're rearranging our room right now. Like when you were kids. And I was like, oh my God, that is the energy you would have at that age. And I only want to hammer at night.
It's true.
All of a sudden, I'm like, I want to redecorate at midnight.
Well, I like to do a little late night cleaning, but like by midnight, I am to the point where I'm like, I have to start winding down. But these people, I think that I think it's 2 young ladies. I'm not sure like what the identity is. Yeah. But they do have very chunky boots.
Yeah.
And they are full of energy. I think that they're like college students or something.
Well, some people are just like that. I had a roommate. It was like she was stomping. She just had a heavy foot.
Heavy footed.
Yeah.
But it sounded like the pattern of movement. It just sounded like a manic episode just unfolding.
Yeah.
You know, to the point where I was like, I'm concerned about you. Like, do we need to go to the hospital
Did you
right
fall
now?
Down? I joke with Ron, and we know our neighbor upstairs. I'm like, it's like you're a mermaid sloshing around on the floor. Like, do you need to get back into your wet bathtub?
Go back to the sea.
Yeah.
Free Willy.
He's just flopping around up there.
He seems like a flopper to me.
Yeah.
Love him though. Respect his work. Now, I want to welcome some of our new Patreon members.
Thank you for joining our Patreon. And we do bonus content every Saturday and every month. Once a month, you get all of our episodes at once before we release them slowly.
Yes. We have almost 200 pieces of content on the Patreon. We have a full backlog. We have the full backlog, and it's a lot of fun. Now, this one is going to go to Amy. Amy, thank you so much for joining our Patreon. This is hematite. And let's see. The magical powers of hematite are that It energizes the etheric body and helps you get optimism, will, and courage. So Amy, if you need a little optimism, this is coming for you today. This is going to help you in grounding. It's going to help you in the reevaluation of personal issues and life patterns. Oh, Amy.
That's a good one.
Enjoy your lady journey.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's the hematite for Amy. Next up, we've got Travis. Travis, we really appreciate you joining our Patreon as I vamp until I find the...
What's
next
the
page?
stone for?
It's lapis lazuli.
Oh, yeah.
Wait, let me see where this is. This is very awkward, and I was not planning on this. Here we go.
There it is.
Lapis lazuli, Travis, the magical powers. This is, virility. Travis.
Oh.
It helps by releasing tension and anxiety, helps in balancing and cleansing all of the chakras. Ooh. It says, this can help attract a better job. Travis, 2023, you're hired.
Yeah.
You're hired,
Send
buddy.
out those resumes. This looks like the previous one.
That's
But it's different because it's kind of it's opaque.
That's a little onyx.
Is it?
Yeah.
Is it see-through? Or is that a reflection?
I think it's a little reflection, yeah.
But it looks like it's got thickness in there.
It is a little opaque. I see.
Yeah.
That's really interesting. Yeah, I never noticed that about that. It's like the lighting in here is so great. Ugh.
And this guy's, what's he called again?
Onyx.
Onyx.
This is a little black onyx. And I am trying to find the little paper I put in here. This is so awkward. I hate myself right now. I'm freaking out.
Everybody's leaving.
Freaking out. Please don't leave the Patreon. Here we go.
There we go.
Here we go. Everything's fine. Ooh, to most people, the word onyx can bring up the picture of a black stone. But actually, onyx has a lot of different colors. Oh, I didn't know that. That's really interesting. Ooh, black onyx will repel negative energy.
That's good.
And leave you feeling less vulnerable and nervous. And that's for our new amazing friend, Deirdre. Deirdre, someday you will come across a piece of creamy white onyx. Ooh. That is more of a soothing, dreamy quality. Okay, but this is black onyx, though. Oh, here we go. This helps you feel secure and not worry so much. Oh, Deirdre, let your worries go, okay? Working with black onyx can aid in balancing karmic debts. It can also open the inner gates to listen to the voices of deities. Okay, so look out for a message, Deirdre. Thank you for joining our
Everywhere,
Patreon.
Billboards.
Yes, they are. Anything can be a message if you want it to. So today, our journey, we're talking about something really fun. We're talking about like dreams.
Yes. And you know what? Are you a vivid dreamer?
Yes.
Me too.
Sometimes I have really vivid dreams, and then sometimes I have no dreams at all. And it just really depends, I think, on like my levels of stress.
Yes. Mine are always pretty much anxiety.
Really?
In some form
Yeah.
or shame.
What's your classic anxiety dream?
My classic anxiety dream is either, I have several. A class that I thought I dropped and there's an exam.
Oh,
and you're always
love
like,
it.
I don't understand how the teacher didn't just drop me. And then I have the same one. It's the same kind of thing when I waited tables and I got sat with a table and I see them and I'm trying to get there. But every time I try to get there, I get another thing that takes priority. And then they're there all night. And I'm like, why haven't they left? Shouldn't they at least be mad at me and go so we can move on? So
that's your anxiety, the most patient people in the world.
and then sometimes sharks.
Oh, really?
Shark
Interesting.
attacks, yes.
Ooh.
And never to the point where I get mauled, but to the point where I'm about to get
Something's
attacked.
coming. Something's
Yes.
coming for you.
What about you?
My classic anxiety dream, very similar to yours, is I am in a play and it is the night of the play. And for some reason, I've just had too many obligations and I have not learned my lines for the play. And I'm about to go on and I don't. I'm like backstage, like really quickly, like trying to learn the lines, which is so stressful because you're just going on and you're going to be like, well, hello,
Yeah.
you know, the play is happening and you're just like, that sounds wild. That's my one. And then I've had one where I'm doing stand-up and I cannot remember my next bit. That is so stressful. You're like, and just waiting and nothing's coming. And I've had like recurring dreams where I I feel like I've had this one recurring dream about a guy that I dated briefly like years ago. And I always felt like I ended up kind of like, it fizzled, it was like a fizzle. But like, I always felt like, internalizing it, as you always do. Like, it's like the person isn't a match for you.
Yes.
And then instead of you being like, oh, that was good thing I like dodged a bullet, you're like, I wasn't good enough.
Yes. You turn it into... your dreams turn into something else.
Yeah. So I always have a dream, like if I'm not feeling good enough in my life, I'll like see that person in the dream. I'm like, Trevor,
Yeah.
So that's like not quite like a stress dream, but I would say like in the category of recurring dreams that are like kind of negative.
Yes. I've had that. It's always because they say that you dream about people that there's never been anyone in your dream that you don't know.
Oh.
Or that you've at least met, which is weird because last night, I had a dream of a house that I swear to God I've never been to. And you're like, how did I create this floor layout in my head? And it was wonderful.
I have had dreams about people I don't know, though. I remember a really vivid dream I had when I was about 6th grade. Maybe I was like 11 or 10. I had this dream that I met, but maybe it was like based on like a cartoon figure like Peter Pan or something.
Yeah.
I had a dream that I met this boy, like a little boy who was like my same age, and we fell in love.
Yeah.
And it was so vivid. And the thing that was so vivid to me was like the feeling, even like the feeling I have now when I'm in like my deep, intimate relationship, my like long-term committed, intimate relationship. I had that feeling then in that dream. And I just remembered being like, I can't believe I just experienced this feeling and now it's completely gone. And my love, like what, where is he?
Oh my God. Because there was a thing, I think it was a Reddit that I read one time. So this guy had this life that he thought, he was married to the love of his life and they had children. And then one day he laid on the couch and looked into a light, and the light got bigger and bigger. And then he woke up and that was not his life. And he had to come to terms with
really
not marrying the love of his life. I guess he was in this dream for a long time. I think what happened was it was an actual head injury that had happened, and it fucked up with his sense of time that dream felt like a really long time.
Oh, that kind of stuff is wild.
I know it, but then when I read the comments for it, people were like, you know what I would have done? I would not have gone into that lot. But it is so wild to have when you've had a dream, and sometimes I don't remember all the dream, but the feeling has stuck with me all day that I cannot stop thinking about, like, that was such a weird feeling. What was that?
What was it? Yeah, you can't put your finger on it.
It's like a sadness almost.
Yeah, because it's gone.
Yeah.
It's like you had something and then...
It was a longing.
Yeah, it is so interesting how the vividness from the dreams actually comes from the emotions that I'm experiencing, like the really nuanced emotions. Because I've definitely had very visually vivid dreams, but that seems to be the thing that is like the most vivid.
Yeah, but it's funny too because like I always want to talk about dreams because I actually find it really fascinating,
but it's like labeled as like boring.
It
People
is
are like, ugh, and don't tell me your dream. You're like, well, I just experienced love on the deepest level I've ever known, and I wanted somebody to share it with me.
And my universe was wild,
shattered.
Yeah, and you're bored.
Yeah. It's like I've just experienced an ego death.
Which is so true. But it is true because I've had people tell me their dreams. And I'm like, I don't know why this isn't interesting to me anymore.
I'm like, I want to talk again now. I think that's what it is. Or people just don't like it when other people are talking.
Well, yeah, Dan Perlman had a bit of like, that dreams, no one's ever like, hey, did you hear about Dan's dream the other day? And that's how you can tell no one gives a shit about your dream. But there's such it's got to be your mind is telling you something.
Well, when I was in therapy, it was the first time that I ever, like, me and my mom, like, my mom's always had vivid dreams. And so growing up in the morning when I would go downstairs, I'd be like, oh, this was my dream last night. And my mom would tell us about her dreams and we would kind of just share it, just as like a little.
It's fun.
Like sometimes it's funny. Ritual. Yeah. And I just always enjoyed that growing up. And but I never thought that dreams actually had a significance, because it's like, it is in the metaphysical realm of like, I dreamed a baby, and that means that a new beginning is, like those dream dictionaries. I always felt that to be like totally
it's like tarot
disconnected.
Card, or you know what I mean? Like,
arbitrary
meaning. Like,
meaning.
if you get swords, it doesn't really mean death necessarily. Yeah. So like, you can't take your dreams literally, I think. You just have to take the feeling of like, well, obviously I'm stressed about something.
Yes. And they don't even actually know like what dreams are even still. Like the science is not there, like, oh, dreams are this.
Yeah.
But so when I was in therapy, my therapist was like, well, do you have any recurring dreams? And I was like, no. And then through talking, I started journaling my dreams, just in my daily free writing. And then I realized like I do have a lot of recurring dreams, and actually they are significant for what's happening in my subconscious. Like I don't need to be a scientist to be like, oh, like I've been really hating my apartment, and I have a recurring dream of like different apartments that I'm moving into. Yeah. Like obviously I want to move. Like it's like I don't need to go to a dream dictionary.
Yeah, I've had that sometimes with my brain where you're just like, why didn't you just come out and say it instead of having like Matthew McConaughey shit shame me at a party? Like unnecessary.
Yes. I know. And so that's what I like do think now more, is that when you just journal your dreams, or, you analyze them, and then you kind of can be like, oh, I know what this is. Yeah. Like it's just a matter of being like the one I had about like the guy that it fizzled out, it's like, because I internalized that, and it sent me into a depression of like, I'm fat and no one wants to date me because I now weigh 125 pounds. Yeah. Like my own like just issues inside my mind. Then whenever I feel that, and then I have a dream about that person, then that's obviously what's happening. You know? But if I had not done that work of like just talking through it with my therapist, I don't think I ever would have been able to really fully understand that.
Yeah, there are times I've wanted to talk about dreams with my therapist, but I actually feel like he comes from the school of like this. What?
Yeah.
I don't think that has anything.
Like psychoanalysis and like cognitive behavioral therapy.
Yeah, mine's more like a social worker therapist.
Yeah. I know. I think like anything Freudian is like super dream. Although like the Freudian theory of dreams, I don't even think it really makes sense. Well, it's like the wish fulfillment, I guess, know?
It can also fuck with you because it's like those people that deal with really violent, intrusive thoughts, especially in OCD. Like I think Maria Bamford had those. Yeah. And if you don't know, you actually just think you're a bad person. Like I would have really horrific, really gory, nightmarish dreams, and then you're like, this is absolutely insane. And then you realize after hearing about like intrusive thoughts and like you aren't your thoughts.
Yes.
It's just a manifestation of something else.
Yeah. It's important to have that type of awareness.
Yes.
And so you're not like, I guess I'm a killer.
I know. Because I've had ones where I've murdered somebody, and it's the act of keeping that a secret and hoping that I've never been found out.
Me too. That's one of my stress dreams.
Yes.
Yeah. See, it's so interesting because it's like, it's not like in the moment of I'm killing somebody. It's like later. Yeah. And I'm in some kind of like weird double indemnity like situation where I'm like, now I'm on the run. Yes. It's like Crime and Punishment in a way, where he experiences the visceral feeling of like the guilt, which I've never finished reading the book. Too much for me. Too much. Wow, that's really interesting.
Yeah. And it's also weird too is like when alcoholics get sober, and this will happen for years in your sobriety, and I still have them. It's drinking dreams where I've had a drink, and it's usually like I'm in Mexico and no one's around me, and I'm living with this secret, and none of my loved ones know, but I know they should know that about me.
Oh, wow.
So it's not the act of drinking in the dream. It's like not that my dream is wanting me to drink. It's the act of I have a secret, a shameful secret. Yeah. And I haven't, and I'm not telling anybody about it.
One thing that I read, it was more of like a scientific theory of dreams, was that it helps you perceive threats in your environment. So it was actually like an evolutionary function, which kind of makes sense in that context where it's like, you know, a relapse would be like a big thing that you don't want to have happen.
Yes.
So your mind is like conceptualizing that while you're sleeping to be like, okay, like this could happen, let's avoid it.
Yeah.
You know, because I've actually had dreams like that too. Like my passport, one of my stress dreams, I forget my passport, but it's always me being like, bitch, get your passport. Bitch, get your passport. Do not forget it.
Yes. It's a good reminder.
It's a good reminder. I like that. I like that theory of dreams.
The other one, I had a friend that went to kind of like, I guess she would go on these like spiritual retreats, and one of them was like learning how to control your dreams.
Ooh.
And I was telling her that you can control your dreams because there's time in a dream, you know what, like something like where you're being chased or you know that you're there. It's been moments in my anxiety dreams where I'm like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
I'm in an anxiety dream right now. And then you kind of let it go. So it's weird when your mind has awareness in the middle of the dream being like this. Oh, I'm in it. Yeah, this is what's happening. I don't have to worry about showing my pussy right now. My shirt's short, but like that's another one that I have.
Just a man behind me. Oh my God.
I always show up to school with the no underwear on and a shirt that's just enough to cover barely any of my private parts.
In any other context, that would be like hot, but for you, you're like, oh my God, I have so much on my plate right now, and now I have no pants. It's like the version of naked, the ladies' version of naked at school.
Yes. But yeah, I think you can somewhat control your dreams. Have you ever woken up and being like, I want to get back to what that dream was?
Ooh, you try
but you
try
can't.
so hard.
Yeah. You're like, well, now I'm in another area.
Yeah,
It's like a video game.
It is. I've definitely woken up in the middle of like a horrific nightmare, you know, just something so terrifying, and then you feel like it's just you have no closure and it's unresolved, and you almost want to go back to sleep to be like, I have to save my mom.
Guess not.
Never mind.
Yeah, I can't make
Now,
it back there.
When I used to teach preschool when I was doing stand up, basically I would get up every morning at about 8, and I would usually go to sleep. Oh no, I think I would get up at about like 7 maybe.
Like, what does your preschool start at 9?
Right. It started at 8. So I think maybe I would get up at 7 or maybe like 6:30, but I would usually go to sleep around like midnight or 1 because I'd be out like doing spots and stuff, or maybe a little bit later because I would do like the 11 p.m. open mics.
Yeah.
So I would get about 6 hours of sleep, and then I would work, and then I would come home and I would just take a full like siesta, you know, and I would have these incredibly, I'd never have them, the hypnagogic where it's just
I would
like,
get paralysis.
oh, would you?
Where you're like, I can't move my body.
Oh
right
my
now.
gosh.
Yeah.
No.
That's why I don't like doing afternoon naps. They're
Oh,
anxiety
really?
dreams. Yeah.
No, I've never had sleep paralysis, but I would get hypnagogic where it was like,
Ooh, I've never heard of this
highly like hypnagogic. I think what the technical definition is, like they're highly vivid, but you're also totally autonomous in the dream. So like you're conscious of the fact that you're dreaming, and you can like manipulate it in a way, like a little bit. I would like always try to have sex dreams. I'd be like, trying to have it, but then it's like I couldn't quite like control it, so it'd be like just like a naked guy over there. I'm like, hi.
I can't get to you. It's like my tables.
Yeah.
I'm trying, but there's some important stuff to do right now.
Yeah. So, but what's the sleep paralysis like for you?
I think it's kind of in that mindset of like, it's very vivid. I feel like I'm half awake and half asleep, and I know I need to move my body, but I can't move my body.
Ooh,
but
scary.
It's very heavy, and that's why I've never enjoyed afternoon naps. I've never have found them to be relaxing.
Yeah, well, you're getting paralyzed.
Yes, I'm getting paralyzed. I think it's also because I feel like I have an obligation later and I do not want to sleep in. It's like when you have an early flight in the morning and you're like, what's the point of even going to bed if I have to get up at 3 or 4 in the morning?
Yeah, you're just like laying there with your, like, I can't miss my alarm.
Yeah, because it will happen.
Yeah.
I've done it.
God, that's the worst feeling. That is the worst feeling.
Yes. And then you and I talked about this recently about dreams, and I only just found out about this term, of course, through TikTok, and then I read up on it. It's called
TikTok is the great information highway.
We're finding everything out, but the thing, it's called maladaptive daydreaming.
Maladaptive
and
daydreaming.
as soon as somebody started talking about it and sharing memes about it, I was like, oh my God, I think I have this.
Yeah.
I don't have it. This maladaptive is more on the daydreaming. I daydream hardcore, but I don't do it into a state of like, I think it holds me back. I do think it hurt me a lot in high school. I could never concentrate on my subject matter because I was always daydreaming about like boys or like.
Yeah, I have had it. So maladaptive daydreaming is basically like, from what I understand, it's when you have a fantasy and you have orchestrated a really complex fantasy in your mind. And it's not just like staring out the window like, oh, I want to go to a trip to like Russia. Like, that's my dream.
You've got scenarios. There's dialogue happening.
Multiple scenarios. You're like, I mean, I've had it to the point where I had to like really keep an eye on it because I'll be like walking down the street, like talking to myself. I'm not talking to myself. I am rehearsing a conversation that I'm having with someone that I got in a fight with 10 years ago, and it's never been resolved. And I'm resolving it in my mind, and I'm like losing the fight for some reason.
Yeah, I've had that with I've got a crush on somebody,
Yes.
and I've already played out our whole life scenario and where we broke up, that I was like, we cannot be a thing because you're gonna want this in your life, and I can't have that.
Yeah. Someone's like, are you okay? You're like, I'm breaking up with him. I'm living a breakup right now.
With a person that's never really had a conversation with me whatsoever.
Doesn't know me.
Has no idea.
Yes, I would go really hard on maladaptive daydreaming with crushes, and I would almost like love, especially in my 20s, and I think this is a big part of why I never had like a serious relationship in my 20s, was because I didn't really want a relationship, but what I wanted to do was like get a crush on a guy who was completely unattainable to me in any way, or like emotionally unavailable, like an asshole, you know?
They have to be emotionally unavailable.
They cannot be
for
interested.
My daydream.
Yeah, they can't be interested in any way.
Because I'm going to have to figure out how to wow them in my daydream.
Yes, just like living it over and over and like relishing it. I actually had a big crush on Mike before we started dating.
Yeah.
You know, but it's just like the fun. I would always get crushes, and I just love the fun of like carefully orchestrating a false reality.
How they fall in love with you.
Living in it. The moment. It's like, and it was just like all the Lifetime originals, all the hallmarks just melding together in my mind.
Yes. Sometimes I feel like that's a big part of why I have depression, is because you do not understand the world that I've created in my head is so much better than what is out there. But now I've gotten better to be like, Sarah, fucking get out of that and realize this is what it is.
That is one thing that causes depression. It's having unrealistic expectations. And that's what that's one of the things I was Googling when I was feeling like I was in a rut.
Yes.
About a month ago. And that was one of the things it was saying. It was like, are your expectations insane? And it's like,
absolutely.
Well, I should have been Steven Spielberg 10 years ago. So I guess.
Absolutely. But we were talking about like, I'll have ones where I'm like so I did that film with Joe and Louie, and I'm thinking in my head, you know, maybe I'll win an Oscar. And then I pictured the whole scenario of going, well, like they're like, wow, we didn't even see this one coming. Unknown. But wow, she really moved us. And then I'm giving my Oscar speech, how I'm going to be revered back home. Esty will give me more spots. And I will have a funny speech about everything. And you're like, what is happening?
Yeah, you come to and you're like, I'm at the bus station. I am at the bus. And it's like, it's hard not to feel depressed when you're like, moments ago, I was getting what I've deserved.
And it's cold and wet out here, and my feet fucking hurt.
Yeah. I know. I do think like I do it as a way of, you know, like I dissociate a lot when I'm uncomfortable, when I'm physically uncomfortable. And I feel it now, like when it's cold, when I'm tired, instead of being present in the moment, I'm just so quick to dissociate. And I would almost like really use the maladaptive daydreaming as like kind of like, it's almost, and it's an addictive behavior too, in a way. And I always like struggle with like addiction stuff, you know, and getting addicted to that.
Good.
Yeah, you're just like escaping. It's escapism.
It is. And like, that's what we were talking about. So the reason I found this on TikTok, and then it was a Reddit, and then they were sharing all these hilarious memes of people that have hardcore maladaptive daydreaming. I'll share a few, but it's just like, so you can get the idea of like what, for if you don't do this, what it's like, or just like, it's funny.
It's funny, and we haven't shared memes in a while.
I know, but
I love these.
I wish I had the photos of these, but it's just like getting to the good part of the fake scenario too fast and then having to restart where you're like, wait. I got to do more build up.
Yes. The anticipation. I would have that with my crush one when it's like all of a sudden we're just like having our first night together and you're like, no, go back.
No, I need a longer courtship and for them to figure out that they're falling in love with me.
You need to really feel the tension.
Yes. When somebody's like, God, you're so chill, and you're like, thanks, I'm completely disconnected from reality at all times. Yes.
I've had that one where
people are like, you're so quiet. You're like, yeah, because I'm in my world and I'm having the time of my life.
Yeah. I've gotten that where people are like, you're standoffish. I'm like this. Mumbling to myself.
I'm having a fake argument. And then like, I'm not delusional. I'm simply manifesting my own reality.
Oh, it's the sweetest manifestation.
That's why it is addicting. Cause you're like, this is the life that I like and I get to have it.
Yeah. And it does feel in a way, it somehow feels like it is like that magical thinking of you're like, well, I'm manifesting, like I'm supposed to be doing this. And it's like, no, you're just rehearsing an argument. Like that's not productive.
Yeah. And I think that's where I get a lot of my resentments is because I see somebody living out my maladaptive daydreams.
Yeah.
Yeah. Where I'm like this, what? That's me.
That's me. That was, you've stolen it. You've stolen everything.
You bitch. When my imaginary partner comes home after cheating again, and it's just like this sign on the house. It's like, welcome home, cheater. That one I love. Like we've created arguments with people that have no idea, breakups, that you've created a relationship with somebody and you've made them to be a cheater.
Yeah.
It's so fucking funny.
I think it's hilarious. And I think like one I was telling you, like you cracked me up because we were talking about this on the phone. And I was telling you about my, now I'm like having sad, mundane maladaptive fantasies where like I went to a women's open mic and I did like a Q&A afterwards.
Because like, why would they be doing a Q&A at the
why are they doing a Q&A with me? But I was like looking forward to it for like a month. And if you're listening to the podcast from the Q&A, thank you and welcome, because I did ask them to join. But I was just like, I'm like talking to women that have just started doing stand-up, and it's like, here I am all the way over here 15 years later, and I'm making way less than what someone in retail part-time makes. And I was just like, but just like getting off my ego on the fact that like I've really done it. And it's like, you know, and then like somehow in other areas of my life, I'm like, I'm doing terribly.
We were like, no, that actually was worse.
Yeah.
I've had that. Yeah. I was trying to make this into a bit, but nobody finds it funny. But like my daydreams are like, I could just become a power washer in Tampa and have my own power washing company. And I would be like, that's pretty easy. And I probably would make a lot of money and I could just listen to podcasts and it's a low overhead. And I just come to people's houses power washing.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I actually like Tampa. And you're like, that is not the dream.
Yeah. That's
what are
so
you
funny.
doing?
I know it's like one thing to be like my Oscar speech, but then another to be like, I've started a small business in Tampa and it's doing okay.
Joe and I can afford a 2-bedroom house in an upcoming neighborhood.
I love it. I love the mundane maladaptive fantasies.
Yeah.
I just think it's so funny. And it's so funny, like your ego is so sneaky, you know?
Oh yeah, you're like the number one it's always being like, oh my God, I've never thought of it that way, Sarah. Like it's nonstop accolades in my
somebody just thinking that you're great. And you're like, I kind of always knew it.
I knew. I'm glad you could see my genius all along.
Oh my God, you're so amazing. Well, can I share your one about, you had one that was so funny about the high school.
Oh my God.
Band. That one cracked me up.
This one happens while I'm on the treadmill a lot or when I'm running. This one happens. It's like, it pumps me up that I I'm still in high school, which is like, why?
It was so.
Why can't you be like awesome outside of now? But I can't.
But that feeling of being in high school though, where it was just like, the world is about to know. And then like
it's my coming out, and I do like a battle of the bands, and I'm rocking out so hard like on guitar, and I have the most amazing voice, and people are like, I did not even see this coming. Like, yes.
Yes.
I
That's
have
your
that.
high point.
That
That's
is
the
my high point. Yeah. I still have that, and you're like, why can't you have that at the Oscars? But I do have my Oscars speech. But yeah.
Prepared. Yeah.
But yeah, you're right. Like, it has to be in high school world, because that is the first time you're actually coming out with your talent.
Yes.
Yeah. You can't come out with a talent at 40.
No, you unless it's like a weird talent where you're like, I can take off bottle caps with my butthole. You know, it's like a fun party trick.
No, the only way I could come out with my new talent if I was like a Sandra Boyle, you know, like
I remember her.
where everyone's like, what an atrocious hose beast, but I have an amazing voice. But you can't come out like as mediocre looking at 40, and if you have an amazing voice, you're like, get in line with all the others.
Yeah, it's like everyone has skills now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my God, it's so delicious. It's so delicious.
But
I love it.
It really can get you through the day.
That's one of the reasons that I do like kind of also do that in my free writing, where I'm just like, this is my fantasy, just like writing it out, scripting or whatever. That's the manifestation term, but it's like, actually I'm just like living in a weird, I'm just writing softcore porn that will be found on my computer in like 50 years from now.
Well, I do think I've come up with bits through maladaptive daydreaming, because what ends up happening is you're going down avenues that you probably wouldn't necessarily do on your own.
And I think daydreaming in general is good for you.
It's
in
healthy.
a way. I think it's healthy, yeah, because it's just like you're just like stimulating your mind, and you know, they say like one thing now, which I find this kind of interesting. It's like intriguing because of social media, everybody has such a shorter attention span, so people don't daydream as much anymore, except for these freakos, which I consider us two of them.
I do think the phone has taken away those daydreams, because I only daydream when I'm not. And I do feel like daydreaming allows you to be creative and goofy.
And just like decompress your mind, you know, because I just feel like we're all constantly overstimulated all the time, and you need that time to just be like, oh my God, like that looks weird, you know, like we used to have sponge painting in our house, and when I was on the toilet when I was little, pooping, for those of you that aren't getting
our
the subtle
70% minute on YouTube.
Yeah, but don't think about that, because you're disgusting. But I would just stare at the sponge painting, and I would always see these like different pictures, and I would like create stories in my mind about it. And it's like, where do I do that in my adult life? Like now I'm just like on the phone, on the toilet, like pretending to check my email, and it's like I'm not even supposed to be like bringing my phone in the bathroom, but I'm like, I need to for work.
I know, to see if I got that Hollywood email.
Yeah. It might be in my spam.
I know, you're like, or just like looking at discourse towards Elon Musk on Twitter these days, that you're like, can we just go back to having fun?
Landline, baby. 2023.
But it is, I think the phone's taken away, because I have to say, one of my favorite things when I do read, and this is so corny, is sometimes you read something like, say, fantasy, because I like, you know, like you're reading, or like any fiction I like, I kind of put it down and kind of revel to feel like what it's like to be in that world. Like in a Hogwarts.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Where that's why it's like impressive that J.K. Rowling really did create such a crazy world.
And also was anti-trans. I know, I do love Harry Potter. It's the world building is just incredible, and I've tried to do that in like scripts and stuff. And when you try to do it, you realize how challenging it really is.
Yeah, it is. And then the world that she creates, she's like, she must have created that through her also maladaptive.
Yeah.
Or just daydreaming.
Daydreaming.
Sometimes I'm like, is it maladaptive?
I don't think it's maladaptive I don't think it's technically maladaptive unless it is preventing you from like living a full life, you know? But I do think like it can be maladaptive in the case of like anxiety isn't good for you. It's like daydreaming probably isn't good for you to be like getting yourself worked up.
Yeah.
Having a fight with your best friend every time you take a shower. So I think it's just lightly bad, you know?
Yeah.
It's just like a thing we all experience.
Yeah.
But anyway, thanks for listening, everybody. And please tap the subscribe.
Tap it. Lady Journey.
Lady Journey.